Welcome to Live Life with Sean. I'm your host, Sean Higgins. I'm a lifelong information security technology expert with a passion for speaking, coaching, and writing. In this podcast, I'm going to introduce you to a question, and I will give you my thoughts on that question. Hope that question and my thoughts will get you thinking about your answers. At the end of each episode, I will offer you a tool to help you work through what might be coming up for you. This show is recorded live, and you are invited to add your questions to the discussion. If I do not get to your questions during the show, I will do the best to either answer them on my blog or on a future show. If you enjoy this content, please share it, subscribe it, like it, and or leave a comment, as this will help others find this podcast. Thank you for joining me. And let's take a look at the question that came up to me this week that I've really been struggling with it a bit, but we'll see where it goes. And the question is, what is it like to be a white male? And, I think this question is bubbling up because we've seen a lot of shifts over the past couple of years, a lot of changes with the Me Too movement, with, the Black Lives Matter. A lot of things have been bubbling up. And when I think about being a white male, there's probably a lot that I don't understand. I don't understand the privilege because I don't believe that I take advantage of the privilege. I mean, maybe I do because I'm a white man and I get that privilege, but it's not something that I see or try and take advantage of in particular. I was raised to treat people the way that I want to be treated. So when I think of being a white man and how does that make me feel? Two things have come up, especially recently. One is embarrassment and the other is sadness. And, when I think about the embarrassment, I am embarrassed to be a white man who would be considered that class of people who might have taken advantage of other people just because of they weren't white men. Especially taking advantage of women because you think you're in power and forcing them to do things they may not want to do. Forcing people to do anything they don't want to do is never a good thing, especially if it makes those people uncomfortable. And, I am embarrassed to be even considered part of that class that just thinks that they are better because of their race and they're sexual, because they're men. The other part of it is that I've been, over the past week or so, I've been pretty sad. And the sadness comes up because, and it's been building for a while, but it really came to a head last week. The sadness is that I'm starting to see divisions everywhere. And it's not in a particular place, but I'm starting to see that you are right and everybody else, if people don't agree with you, they're wrong. It's like there is such a hard truth. There is such a hard line to draw. In politics, it's either you're right or you're left, and there's nothing in between, and there's no working together. And, I believe, my belief, that the President Trump is really the embodiment of that division. I think that he thrives in dividing people. You're either with him or you're against him. And I think that he has used his position to drive people apart versus trying to get people to work together. And it's not just in the US. It was interesting when the Prime Minister in Canada got reelected and the people out west who were conservatives, he's a liberal, wanted to secede from Canada because they have opposing views to the sitting prime minister. And it just, I don't know, looking at all these divisions that are happening around us, Brexit, another division, the British people used to be part of the European Union, but Brexit is them pulling back from that working together and being together. And it's scary too, because as we start separating, we start isolating. And if we start isolating, it can lead to bad things. I remember I read a book by George Washington. It was about the last letter that he wrote as he was leaving the office of the president. And the one thing that he has a bunch of points, and the one that really sticks to me is he recommends that you trade with everybody. Fair and economical trades, but you trade with everybody, because if you are trading with somebody, doing business with somebody, especially in another country, you're less likely to go to war with them. Because if you've got a fruitful trade for both, then trading with them, going to war, you lose the benefits of that. So you're dividing what you're trying, and trading brings you together, which I thought was a very wise move. And I think the sadness really peaked last week for me, because I just saw the election in the US was really seemed to be driving people further and further apart. And I just could not, matter of fact, I had to stop all news because it was just crazy. All the he said, she said, and they're lying, and just pushing against each other. Instead of being patient and waiting to see what the people decided. I mean, what I am very grateful for is a lot of people voted. And I think that, and I'm hoping that the results are the will of the people. The more people that vote, the more the will it is of the people. And I will admit that I am happy that Joe Biden is currently the president-elect. And it's not because I love Joe Biden, but when I compared him against President Trump, I just felt the value of the man leading the United States was important. And I would rather have somebody who's going to try and get people to work together versus somebody who I believe is going to drive people apart. And, if you step back and look at the energy of the situation in the times, President Trump probably came around at the right time. He is hopefully a wake-up call to people to hopefully get them to start to change, to start to care, to start to be concerned about others. Because and again, the way I see Trump is drive people apart, and it's my way or the highway. And I'm hoping that we have woken up as a people to say, we don't want that, and that we can start to come together. And I know it's not going to happen overnight. And I know Joe Biden only has 4 years. And I fear that what could happen is that we will say, oh, we elected Joe, and Joe will take care of it, as opposed to us continuing on. It was an interesting quote that I read on Facebook from a friend of mine who, I don't remember the exact quote, but he said, voting is just the first step. We need to continue to be involved, especially if, your candidate didn't win, then why not work with the other one? It is a constant thing that we should be doing, to work together, to tell our leadership what we want from them and continue to move them forward. I was on a news diet from Wednesday until Saturday when I heard Joe Biden was declared the president. He's not the official president yet until a whole bunch of stuff happens, but it's a process. When I talked to people last week, I said, look, it's a process. Let it work itself out. There's checks and balances in the system, and I'm hoping that it all checks out the way it should and that we have a valid result. And then, so, on Saturday, Sunday, I started checking some news, and I'm still kind of leery about reading the news. There's some stuff I want to read because Apple came out with a new product. Got to find out all about it. But that's it. That I digress there. I read an article in the Washington Post. It was an open letter to the senators the Republican senators in the Senate, and I tried to figure out who it was from, but I read so quickly that sometimes I miss some details. But the letter was, it is time for you to start talking. Instead of just following the party line, start opening your mouth, start moving things forward. And the article cited many things, many times when the Republicans and Democrats got together to produce something that we needed. And I'm very hopeful that this will start happening again. Because it's, to just draw a line between you because you're a Democrat, Republican, you're white, you're black, you're man, you're a woman, all takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. And there isn't one type of person that is better than another. I mean, yeah, maybe there are in certain areas, like I'm no good at being a doctor, okay? But if you want to talk about technology and security, I'm great. But that's different, and it takes all kinds. I mean, doctors need people like me to make sure their environments are secure, and I need doctors to make sure I stay healthy. So, and I'm still cautiously optimistic that that the world is starting to wake up, and I'm hoping that by listening to me, I am helping in some way, helping you become a better you, hoping I become a better me myself, and talking to you. And if you have comments about what I'm saying, please share them with me. I'd love to hear them. If you're listening live, send me your questions. I'll try and answer them, and hopefully, we can come to some kind of agreement. It's not, you're not right, I'm not wrong. There's usually lots of shades of gray between us. And there's probably a third better option for us to work on to move things forward. And with that, what I'd like to do is to do a little bit of a healing right here. I think that, and the reason for some of the white man supremacy is because as a white man, there is probably something in your history that pushed you down, that offended you, that made you think you needed to fight all the time. And there's probably things you need to fight for, but there's probably a lot more things that you just need to take a breath and really step back before you make that fight decision, before you force somebody to do something they don't want to do, before you get angry. And so let's take a moment and let's do a healing for yourself and for those around you. And let's see where it goes. So I'd like everybody here who's joining me here to take a big deep breath in. Let it out. Start to feel yourself settle into your chair. Put your feet flat on the ground and let your palms rest gently in your lap. Take another deep breath in. Let it out. Take another deep breath in. And as you let this one out, gently close your eyes. Start to gather all your attention in the center of your head. Right in behind your eyes, just in the center of your head there. Feel into this space. And if there's any energies in here that don't belong to you, just ask them to leave. This is your space. This is for where you want to get inspiration, intuition. Just clear it out of any energies you don't want right now. Now, any thoughts, worries, concerns you have about the future, let's just pull your attention back from those now. Pick those up later. Any thoughts, worries, concerns about the past, just gently pull your attention back to right here and now, and take a deep breath in. Let it out. Bring your attention down to the base of your spine. Let's connect the grounding cord from the base of your spine and let it go all the way down to the center of the earth. And make sure it's wide or wider than your hips, but just really get it really connected into the base of your spine and all the way down to the center of the earth. You can imagine this like a tree trunk growing or a waterfall falling. But start to feel that connection with Mother Earth. Start to feel that gentle pull. Great. Bring your attention back to the center of your head. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. And I'd like you to imagine like you're sitting in a movie theater with a big screen out in front of you. And this, make sure it's nice and white. So imagine you're wiping it off So it's nice and white and clear. Now let's sit back, and what I'd like you to do is to ask for any past connections, whether in this lifetime or another one, where it made you have to feel you were superior. This could have been a situation where you were put down, so you told yourself you would never let that happen again. It could have been somebody saying that you are superior and you need to treat people differently. Somebody handed it down to you and you picked it up. But just look on that screen and ask, when did I start to think I was better than everybody else? Just whatever it is, that's fine. As you're seeing that play out on your screen, what I'd like you to do is to feel in, where is that in your body? Could be in your solar plexus, could be in your heart, could be in your shoulders. Just notice where it is for you. Okay, just feel into that. What I'd like you to imagine is that you're taking your hands and pulling that out body and holding it in your hands. Just notice what it looks like. Probably a ball of some kind of energy. Might be gooey, might be heavy. Notice what color it is. Now, what I'd like you to do is to take that ball of energy and throw it onto the screen in front of you and watch it fill your entire screen. Just notice what it looks like. Now, what I'd like you to imagine is bring in some energy from above in through the top of your head. It's white light. Bring it down in through the top of your head. Let it work its way down through your head and neck and shoulders, into your arms. And now capture that energy between your hands. Create a ball of energy. Feel that energy. And now take that ball of energy and bring it into that place where you just took that bad energy out of. And let it fill you in. Let it fill you up. Keep holding your hands over that spot. Keep filling it in, helping you release, letting it go. Good job. Now let's take some golden energy from above and let's bring it down and let it wipe off that screen out in front of you. Let it clean off that old image. Let it clean off that old energy. And notice how clean that screen looks now. Breathe. Keep breathing. Bring your attention back to the center of your head. Keep breathing. And now I'd like you to imagine a situation where you, in the past, thought you were superior than somebody based on their sex or color or religion, whatever it is. And notice if you have a different appreciation for that person. There you go. Good job. Keep breathing. And invite you to open up your heart and share your love with the people on the screen. Just share your love and bring some more white light in from above and let it help fill you up from your head to your toes. Let it overflow your heart and continue on to that screen. Keep breathing. Good job. Thank the screen for showing you what it did. Bring yourself back to the center of your head. Take a deep breath in. As you let it out, start to feel yourself settle back into your body. Take a deep breath in. As you let this one out, gently open your eyes. You want to stay here and keep breathing. I invite you to take out a piece of paper and a pencil and write about your experience. What did you experience? What did you learn? What has changed? And just write whatever comes. I am grateful and I thank you for joining me on Live Life with Sean. If you would like to book a coaching session with me or want me to speak at your next event, please find the Connect with Sean link on my website at seanchiggins.com. If you enjoyed this show, please share it, subscribe to it, like it, and or leave a comment or question, as this will help others find this podcast. Until next time, have a wonderful week.